we're unmuted. Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here. This is such an amazing night, and I'm honored to be here as the mom of the Boy of the Year. I'm so proud to introduce my brave boys, Luke and Ryan. Luke is 9 years old, and he's an amazing super sibling to Ryan, who is 7 and was declared in complete remission from leukemia earlier this summer. The boys have been working really hard with Jesse Giordano and Megan Doyle over the past week to get their story down on paper. I know it wasn't easy for the boys, but you made it an amazing experience for both of them. Thank you for giving them the opportunity to tell their story. Ryan is a beginner reader, so please be patient. And without further ado, I hand it over to the bravest kids I know, Luke and Ryan.
It's 5 p.m. Saturday, January 21st, 2017, and I'm finishing my basketball game. My parents and my brother Ryan came to watch me play. I'm only 6 years old at the time, and Ryan is 4. On the ride home from the game, Ryan says, "Mom, I don't feel well. My stomach hurts." Ryan starts crying, and the pain seems to be getting worse. When we get home, my mom and dad look worried. My dad says, "I think we should take him to the hospital." A few moments later, they are on their way to the emergency room. Mom stays with me, and by the time we go to bed, Ryan and Dad are still not home. The next morning, Dad and Ryan are home, but he still doesn't feel well. I go to school that day, but instead of coming home at the end of the day, I went to my cousin's house instead. Dad picks me up later that night. His eyes are red and watery. He does a really good job holding back the tears, but I know something is wrong with Ryan. A few days later, I learned Ryan went back to the hospital and was diagnosed with leukemia. The next morning, my dad takes me to school, but for the next 2 weeks, I stay with my aunt and cousins. It's weird because Ryan isn't around. It was like a big sleepover, but from the looks on everyone's faces, I knew something was going on.
My stomach really hurt that first night. I went to the hospital. When we got there, they stuck me with needles to take blood and give me an IV. It hurt a lot. When the doctors sent us home, they told us to come back tomorrow if my stomach still hurt. I didn't sleep that night because my stomach hurt so much. The next morning, my stomach hurt, my head hurt. My head was pounding and my stomach really hurt, so Mom took me back to the hospital. I stayed there for 2 weeks. I was so scared. And the worst part was that Mom and Dad had to keep switching. I wanted them both there to take care of me. One of them had to work.
I think the hardest part for Ryan is going to the clinic each week and taking chemo every night. At 7:30, just before we went to bed, Ryan has to take his chemo. He cried for at least 20 minutes before. The days Ryan went to the clinic, he cried the whole way there. I didn't know what to do, so I just stayed quiet. While at the clinic, we mostly played on our iPads, but we were there forever. Whenever I asked, "When are we leaving?" my mom would say 30 minutes, but it felt like 9 hours. It was so frustrating.
I hated the chemo. It made me feel weird and icky. and it tasted terrible. It was so hard to fall asleep after taking it because I felt weird. I had to go to the clinic every week. Mom would usually take me because Dad had to work. They would take my blood every time I and give me more chemo. The hardest times were that the nights before we went to the clinic. So I was so scared. I was lucky because all my cousins were saying it will be okay, and that always made me feel better.
I'm happy to say that Ryan is here today cancer-free. On May 9th of this year, Ryan took his last treatment. The hardest part for me was over the last 3 years, Ryan got all the attention. It felt really lonely sometimes. I know Ryan was sick, but I'm still here. At one point, my mom and I got to do a special program for kids with cancer. For families of kids with cancer. That was really great. I learned a few things because of this. First, when someone you love has cancer, take care of yourself because you are important too. Second, it's okay to feel lonely when someone you love is sick and they need help. We can make up for it later. Third, we have to cure cancer so brothers don't have to watch their brothers cry. Please support LLS with every last penny you can.
I took chemo for 3 years, but 2 months ago, I took my last chemo treatment. I remember one night I took the empty bottle and threw it out the back door. I threw it so hard it almost landed in the pool. My mom filmed it and posted it on Facebook if you want to watch it. On my last day of chemo, a 200-car parade drove by my house. There were police cars, sports cars, post office trucks, and a fire engine at the end. Then the fire truck let me blow the horn to celebrate my last dose of chemo. I learned a lot over the last 3 years. Don't do things alone. Friends and family are really important, so keep the good people around. Second, never give up. I wanted to give up many times, but it was my brother, my cousins, and my friends, and my mom and dad that kept me going. Thank you for raising money so I can be here today. We have to beat cancer so no other child goes through what I did. Please give all you can to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society.
Wow. Great job, boys. I'm so proud of you. You know, it's not easy to tell your story, especially when you have all these eyes watching you. So thank you for being so brave today and every day. And let's remember, tonight is not about winning or losing. It's about the hope that you have granted to many families and for the lives you have saved, including Ryan's and Cammie's. Thank you to all the candidates and their teams for your unwavering commitment to finding a cure for blood cancer. It has truly been our pleasure getting to know each and every one of you over the past year. And from the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much. Good luck tonight.